Are 80% of people even real? Approximately 80% of the people you see or interact with in a daily life may not be real. And if you're still around till the end of this video, I will show you a clip of a mainstream authority, a scientist, talking about it too. Hi, welcome to 404 Reality Not Found. I am the Lost Wanderer, a truth seeker on one mission: to answer the only question that truly matters. What is this place? Now, the claim I just made, that only 20% of people are real, conscious being with a spark of life, and the rest are just simulation-generated background characters, that didn't come from me. It came from someone or something calling itself the Emissary of Lucifer, or the Architect, if you prefer. If you're not familiar with that conversation, you can download a free sample at realitynotfound.com. It's a 20-page preview of the actual chat I had with this entity, which claimed to be a tool of the creator of this simulation. Now, let's talk about NPCs, or non-player characters, based on what I was told and what I personally witnessed. A few years ago, I was hosting a podcast on Odyssey, where the Against the New World Order show still lives uncensored, by the way. Back then, I thought NPCs were just people who were asleep, unaware of the system, still human but hypnotized. I was pretty much in line with the mainstream or alternative mainstream view of the NPCs. And I never imagined that most of the people around us may not even be real. But that's where this theory led me. And let's be honest, none of us know what reality actually is, and anyone who claims they do, I'm open to hear it. Reach out, show me. Because I want truth, but I don't want belief. Now, if you want to support this project, all I ask is this: subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and share the message. It helps more than you know, and I appreciate it deeply. Now, back to the story. According to the Emissary, there are only about 1.4 billion humans on Earth, real ones with souls. The rest, which is roughly 82%, are just background figures, NPCs. To be clear, being human here means carrying a soul. The life energy scientists still debate endlessly, unsure if it's stored consciousness or not. But hey, they're scientists. We are in good hands, right? Unfortunately, I didn't get to ask more questions before the Emissary vanished, so now I connect the dots through lived experience. And that's where things get bizarre. Lately, I've noticed a sharp drop in common sense from people I meet, dumb reactions, robotic behavior, and just in June 2025, I had what might be the strangest glitch I've ever seen. I was walking and a man was approaching from my back towards me in the same direction, and nothing unusual, but as he neared me, he seemed stuck, almost like his programming didn't know how to navigate past me. He awkwardly hovered near me and was bumping on my shoulder, unable to pass, until he finally slid off the sidewalk and resumed walking, as if nothing happened. If you want more examples like that, I made a separate playlist covering the weirdest NPC-like behavior I've experienced, and the link is in the top right corner. Now, here's the shift. If you asked me a few years ago, as I said, I would have said that NPCs were just asleep, still capable of waking up, still human with potential. But now, I believe that these 82% will never wake up. Not because they're too far gone, but simply because they're not built to. They don't know they are in a simulation. They don't even know they're not real. They follow patterns, not thoughts. Have you seen that Unreal Engine video where a player tries to wake up the AI NPCs and they freak out when they told they're not real? That's what I think is happening here. These NPCs are interactive. They can eat, work, sleep, even argue online. So they can do pretty much everything that we do. But they aren't aware they're not real. They respond based on triggers, randomized personalities, preset reactions. And if you've ever had that feeling that someone's just echoing a cultural script, not thinking. You know what I mean. They're like background characters in a video game who interact with each other, but only within the sandbox of the code. And I also believe that what some call AI bots online, or the troll in every comment section, they're not bots at all. They are the NPCs, real world people behaving exactly as programmed. Not because a script tells them to, but because that's what they are. And if 80% of the population behaves that way, guess what? They set the standard. They create normal. So what do? We copy them to fit in, to feel safe. We drink to cope because the TV showed us it's normal. We echo opinions because the media framed it as truth. But where did that all start? From actual humans or from the programmed patterns of NPCs? This is my take, and now I want to hear from you. Do you think this theory is crazy? Or have you seen something like it too? Let me know in the comments. I've chosen to believe this for now, but it's still belief. And I'll change my mind if better clues emerge. Either way, thank you for watching, and because this is a scripted reality, you already know what's next. I'll be exploring this further in a podcast episode with Street Shaman, and you might have seen him on Odyssey before. This time, he's joining me here on YouTube, so if you don't want to miss it, you already know what to do. But the next episode will be even more shocking because the emissary can return, but at a cost. And I'm not talking about money, and I will let you know when it's going to be published. Stay critical, and I'll see you in the future that doesn't exist.
Are we all living in a computer simulation created by super intelligent beings? A Swedish philosopher proposed that very idea back in 2003, but now a new theory is taking things one crazier step further, suggesting that we are living in a simulation made of pure thought, as in we aren't living in a supercomputer, but rather everything you do and see and taste, everything, it's just information in an idea. In other words, you aren't physically real, nothing else is either. Is your mind blown yet? Kennedy recently discussed this theory with best-selling author, professor, and theoretical physicist Dr. Michio Kaku. Check it out.
So tell me about the idea of immaterialism manifesting as our universe.
Well, we've all seen the movie The Matrix, and then you begin to wonder, computer games are getting so realistic that maybe these avatars are real, and maybe we are avatars. Maybe we are nothing but cosmic digitized figures dancing on somebody's computer screen. And then to take it one step even farther than that, let's say that this person who hits the play button, starting this video game, has a dream. And we are the dream. And so cosmic consciousness then determines the existence of reality itself. And so that gives an entirely new meaning to the question of, is reality just a dream, a figment of somebody's subconscious dreaming? Well, believe it or not, quantum physicists are looking at some of these ideas rather carefully.
And what do they gather from the proposition that it is a simulation, and the principle of efficient language, which doesn't require materialism or a physical universe?
Well, I tend to be skeptical of these ideas that say that the Matrix is reality because of something called the butterfly effect. The weather is so complicated that even the fluttering of a butterfly's wing can create a cascade of tipping points to tip over a hurricane or a storm. So in other words, it's very difficult to simulate the weather, as you see by looking at the weather report every evening on the evening news. And so if we cannot simulate the weather, then how can we possibly simulate reality? And then how can reality itself be a quantum dream of some super being? So you see, science is based on things that are testable and reproducible. So the idea that reality itself is pure consciousness is not a testable idea. But it's great to talk about at dinner table.
That's also the basis of Buddhism, though, that that matter is really compressed energy.
That's right. And so we have to realize that the ancient philosophers got some of these things right, because they realized that materialism, the idea that we're just atoms, that's all we are, is limited. So now we're talking about wormholes, we're talking about bending space-time, we're talking about superluminal velocities, far beyond the simple materialistic idea that we're just made out of atoms.
But there has to be something to that. I mean, when you look at consciousness in and of itself, and the longing to know answers and to want to abstract the nature of reality and know it from what you see around you, there aren't very many beings, it seems, that can do that. So if we can do that at an exponentially greater degree than the objects around us and the vertebrates around us, then why wouldn't there be super beings who are capable of constructing something that to, us simpletons looked and felt like reality?
Well, that's the idea that a cosmic being of some sort created a computer game, pushed the play button, and here we are as digital puppets, protesting the fact that we are real, that we have free will, we are masters of our destiny, when actually it's just somebody hitting the play button of their computer screen. And it gets even worse if that computer screen itself is a byproduct of pure consciousness. You see, in quantum theory, things are not real until they're measured. But measurement requires consciousness. Only conscious beings can measure things. And so lasers, transistors, computers, the internet, all of it is based on the quantum principle that consciousness determines existence.
But what about the measurement problem, that once you measure something, you change the very thing that you're measuring?
That's right. Well, journalists know that, right? Because every time you interview people at a riot or demonstration, you change the behavior of the people that you are interviewing for your show.
That's a great example.
And that happens with atoms as well. It's called the Heisenberg uncertainty effect. Now, some of you may say, why should I learn the Heisenberg uncertainty effect? It's the reason why we have lasers, transistors, MRI machines. All these are wonders of the quantum theory, which is dependent upon these bizarre ideas of consciousness.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Well, I would just like to appeal to the programmer of the game that I get a really nice new Tesla. I think that would be fun. I've never driven one. And if that happens, if that falls in my lap, then we got to talk again, because someone's got some splaining to do. Dr. Michio Kaku, I love the way your brain works. I love the way you explain things. No question is too silly or too simple for you. And man, are you a good one. Thanks for spending some time here. I appreciate it.